All right. Welcome to NHL Nightly. As always, I'm your host, the Sports Spirit, aka Jeremiah Maxwell. With me, as always, Perlo Wisdom, Steve Duncan, Rico and Barry, our French correspondent, beer league correspondent, and goal scoring prop extraordinaire. And of course, it's his channel, I'll Take Hockey, John Viveros. We got a
Let's
ton of
go.
people. Got a ton of people in already. 28 in the chat. 28 between all the platforms. Murray Reed from New Zealand. Nick Susi. Get out of town. All right. Good stuff, man. Welcome to NHL Nightly. John, why don't you just introduce us to your fans and tell everybody what we're going to be doing on your channel from now on?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jeremiah, how many times have we talked about this channel needing a consistent show? I mean, I've been itching to get back into the live streaming, and obviously you guys have been killing it. So I feel like YouTube still doesn't have enough of the hockey night live streams per se, and whether it's covering games or just talking hockey, I think that's huge. And I think we're right in the sweet spot of we're gonna catch the Eastern time viewers before they go to bed. Hopefully, I know some people already reached out to me saying 10 o'clock's a little late for them. That's all right. They can watch the replay in the morning. And then you got a lot of the Western viewers at a perfect time here for a 7 o'clock start for Pacific viewers. So I think this is a perfect idea. I think it's great. Rico, Perlo, Jeremiah, I think it's a legendary crew we got together here. And just in terms of, I mean, you know what? To me, I think there's a good balance of professionalism, but also just good friends talking hockey, and I think you guys bring that. So, I appreciate you guys, and I think for a lot of it, what I've talked to you, Jeremiah, about is, and for the people in the chat, like you guys will get a lot of interaction from these guys. I'm not gonna knock down or say anything about other people on socials, but sometimes they don't get to comments as much as these guys do, and I think that's a big factor in terms of the interaction and getting. I would say just a whole hockey show with the people actually watching. So I think that's an important aspect. But yeah, guys, let's talk hockey. I think I hope the viewers always have a good time at the NHL Nightly show. And let's talk some hockey. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. A couple upsets even tonight.
You think? I know. Yeah. I was really impressed with Chicago's win over Tampa Bay. I mean, that's a sneaky one. And then obviously the Islanders up 5-2 against Colorado. That's a pretty big one. And then Buffalo kind of smacking around Boston. I know you Toronto fans got to take a lot of joy in Boston eating a little bit of crap from time to time, I'm sure. So, hey, let me just get rid of Nick Susi, Darkness, Big Al Williams, Scarby, aka my wife. Nice to see you, babe. Mickey Obed, Britt Woodworth, Adam Stratton, Josh, Murray Reed, Striker, I think Stikers, ST. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights, Jim Johnson. Everybody, thank you so much. Chad Nygaard, love it. Appreciate you guys so much. 65 in the chat. It's all Hot Take Hockey, baby. We wouldn't have these numbers if it wasn't for him. So we appreciate you, the Snake Sports Talk Show, everybody. What's good? Okay. I think we should get right into it, man. The Rantanen trade. We talked about it live on Friday. That's how we broke the news on this channel that we were coming. And we're starting now, and we're going to be with you the remainder of the hockey season all the way through the playoffs. Right here in the 10 p.m. Eastern slot, we're going to talk NHL news, and we're going to talk some gambling at the end of the show for you degenerates. So good stuff. Mikko Rantanen gets traded. Back Necas. They also get Taylor Hall. And Jack Drury. Jack Drury, by the way, had a goal tonight for Colorado. We watched that live here just a few minutes before going live. Okay, John, I mean, you and I talked about it a little bit the night of, kind of, just for a second. But I can't think of a trade in season that's been this big since maybe Joe Thornton. I think the Jack Eichel trade was pretty big. That was like a November, but was like earlier season trade. But I mean, to me, this is up there with Gretzky as far as the level of accomplishment this player has had. He's won a Stanley. I mean, in the modern era. I mean, obviously Gretzky won 4 Stanley Cups when he was traded, but like, I can't think of a player that's been in the top 4 of scoring that's been as good as Mikko Rantanen. I mean, I wasn't completely shocked because we had heard his rumors. Nick Kiprios had it up on this trade talk. We talked about it. We pulled up his article from Sportsnet. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I said it was the biggest trade of the decade with keeping in mind Eichel and obviously with Tkachuk as well. And the perspective here is exactly what you just said. I think at the time, Eichel's obviously a big time player, but the injury and the
we didn't know. It
surgery
was
and
a
all the
lot of unknown with
conversation.
Eichel.
Yeah, it's all hindsight with those guys, right? Like you look back on the Tkachuk one too. Obviously, at the time, no one knows Tkachuk's going to be a huge factor for Florida to win the Stanley Cup. So in the moment right now, looking at the trade itself, I mean, this is a massive trade, as you just said. So I think also the size of the deal, the fact that there was a 3-way deal here, and we don't see that many. Again, it was not much of a factor for Chicago just getting they're getting their 3rd round pick back. But I thought Elliot Friedman also made a great point, and I didn't even think about it at the time. Was they get their own 3rd round pick for it to be a high 3rd round pick, almost a late 2nd round pick. But the factor I didn't even think about, and for chat to kind of think about this as well, is we just saw 2 offer sheets from the St. Louis Blues stealing Holloway and Broberg from Edmonton. The fact that Chicago got their own 3rd round pick and they have a lot of cap flexibility going into this offseason, I wonder if Kyle Davidson's going to be looking at some juicy RFAs this offseason, maybe looking at a little offer sheet. So there's that certain threshold where if you put forward a 1st and 3rd round pick, I believe it's in that you can go as high as like 9 point something for an offer sheet, and you end up giving up. I think it might be a little bit lower than that, but it's about a 1st and a 3rd for a threshold. So I wonder. It's interesting for me, but there's so many factors in why that trade's just massive. And as you said, Mikko Rantanen already getting a Stanley Cup. And again, I think you, Jeremiah, had also mentioned this on a stream a few nights ago, but Mikko Rantanen is, I believe, in the top 4 for the last few years in terms of production, right there with Connor McDavid, McKinnon, and Draisaitl, right? So I think that speaks for itself, right? We could talk about the other great guys in the league, whether you want to talk about Austin Matthews, Jack Hughes, David Pastrnak, but production-wise, Rantanen's right there. And the only reason we don't talk about Rantanen more is because he plays with 2 guys named Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCarr, right? So, and also Rantanen made a couple good defensive plays tonight for Carolina too. So I think that's a little bit of a sneaky part of this game.
He also didn't score on a 2-0 breakaway, but I got
no, I got it. Hey, you know what? It takes time to get that chemistry going, but hey, you know what, guys? It's great to see you. We got is that 85 in the YouTube chat?
Yeah, we have 83 across all platforms, 69 in the YouTube, 14 on X. Okay, so if you click the little eyeball, it'll let you know. So we've just grown. We have 85 now in the chat. Hit the like, subscribe. We are here for Hot Take Hockey now. We will be doing NHL Nightly every night, 10 p.m. We will see you. I will be doing some live streaming from time to time on this channel, doing a little bit of play-by-play from time to time. We'll have John. From time to time we won't, but we're going to keep this channel alive. And John's still going to do all his great trade videos and stuff. Riley and him are going to come on. They're going to do their stuff. So, so Parker Henderson has something in your thing there in regards. He says, you think Gabe Vilardi gets offer sheeted by Chicago?
So, I mean, Gabe Vilardi is a good example because, I mean, again, he's really done well with Winnipeg. But Winnipeg's also got other contracts upcoming that they got to consider.
Have a lot of UFAs. Yeah. Like 6 or 8, I think. It's quite a bit.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Kyle Connor is eligible for an extension this offseason. I believe so. If that, or it might be Ehlers. It might be both, frankly. They're both coming up. So I think Winnipeg's got a lot to consider. They just locked up Hellebuck and Scheifele long term. So they're kind of in that mode. But Gabe Vilardi's been unbelievable for the Winnipeg Jets. Like that guy, we knew he was going to pop off at some point, and he's obviously got that opportunity with Winnipeg. But yeah, there's a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. So I appreciate like Ice Sports Talk, Pam, Noah, Parker. Yeah, you guys are going to love these guys. Good group of hockey guys here. Going to talk a lot of hockey. And obviously, as Jeremiah mentioned, a little betting segment at the end and looking into the next night. And these guys are successful at that as well. So you know what? Elias Pettersson's going to be the big name, obviously, going the rest of the year. You know
Nick
what?
Susie says, do you think Pettersson to Ottawa would be insane? I think it would. Could happen.
I think there was a rumor that popped up that Ottawa would be willing to finally just empty the cupboards, and maybe a guy like Josh Norris could be the guy that offsets the cap in a situation like that. So I'd be curious because Ottawa's got a lot of. I heard
Norris's name early in the year though, and I just don't think there are any takers. The guy has got a really high ceiling, but he can't stay healthy. By the way, Anaheim just scored 1-0. Anaheim been playing some good hockey. I just was going to look real quick at Winnipeg. Why they're not showing up here, because where their cap space is. I thought they had quite a bit of cap space. How am I missing them? Anyway, okay. I don't have them.
Sports Talk has got a good question, and I feel like that's got to be a conversation we bring at some point. The Houston Atlanta markets.
Yeah. For right now, Ice, let's put that on ice. I wanted to give, before Perlo and Rico get to talk about the Rantanen, Hall, all the stuff, Necas, I want to give my opinion real quick. I have a hot take for the start of this show, a hot take. And I don't go out on these hot takes this much, but I think we're going to look back on this deal and be like, Colorado got the better end of the deal. I think Necas and Drury have a higher thing. And what if Rantanen doesn't re-sign with Carolina, which is easily, but I just wonder, man, how much. I'm not saying Rantanen is not a good player, but I'm saying you get to play with one of the best players in the league. Pat Maroon was talking about it on Spit and Chicklets today. He goes, man, I had my best year ever, 27 goals when I played with Connor McDavid in Edmonton. Yeah. He goes, and his agent turned down a 3-year, $3 million extension with Edmonton. That'd have been $9 million in the bank for Pat Maroon. And I don't think he would have minded it, but he was like, he knew where he was. And good stuff, though. Okay.
I was going to say, Jeremiah, just quickly on that point, you made a great point on the Rantanen maybe not re-signing, because here's the thing. Kyle Dubas is getting ripped to shreds in Pittsburgh right now, rightfully so. But I'll say this. The one move, he's made a lot of dumb moves so far in Pittsburgh. The one move that I don't think is dumb, and no one can call dumb, I think, at this point, is the assets he got back for Gensel. Like Bunting's been as bad as Pittsburgh's been. Bunting's been productive. They got good draft capital, and they got some good, like Ville Koivunen's going to be an unreal prospect for them, and they've got some good prospects there. So my point is, if Rantanen doesn't re-sign with Carolina, everyone's going to look at what Colorado specifically got out of a penny UFA that turned into the free agent market, and they got Marty Necas, a guy that can put up 70 points on a year, easy. They got a guy in Jack Drury, who I think
20 because he's playing with McKinnon.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Jack Drury, I think I'm right there with you. I think he could be underrated. I think he could be a third line center at his ceiling. And then
I would be a 30-point guy in this league with McKinnon.
Yeah. They also got a couple draft picks. So here's the thing. I think if Rantanen leaves and signs with a team like Chicago, also Carolina is going to be looked at in a little bit of a negative way after back-to-back losing big-time rentals.
Well, if they re-sign him, I still think, to clear my hot take, I still think we're going to look at this and be like, Colorado got the better end of the deal. I just think Necas isn't going to do what he has been able to do with, and I think for two reasons. One, not because he lacks ability, but one, the system that Brendan Moore plays in, I don't know if that fits his game. Colorado isn't the most defensive team. Okay. So I just look at it like, I think Necas, his speed and skill is going to match in real well. I mean, he had an assist again tonight. So I think we'll look back on this and consider this a different scenario. But Rico and Perlo, I want to hear from you on this.
Yeah. Pardon me. Yeah. Hey, man. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much. The chat, I'm learning so much from the chat. This is like one of the best hockey chats out there. Everybody's so smart. I learned so much watching John's shows as well by just reading the chat and listening to people's opinions and stuff like that. But yeah, I know Rantanen came out and he said he was ready to take less in the open market. And I guess he had a chat with Colorado a couple days ago. Then boom, he was traded. So he came on record and said it happened a little quicker than you realized. And I know McKinnon in his interview after the game too, when the mics were in his face, they asked him if he talked to Rantanen about it like during the last little while, and he kind of slipped a little bit and said, yeah, I mentioned it to him a couple times, and then he kind of slurred his words and stopped talking about it. So I don't know if McKinnon was in his ear about it a little bit too, but it sounds like it caught Rantanen by surprise a little bit. It happened quick, and 10-15 minutes in the GM's office, he said, you're on your way to Carolina, and that's what it is. And I saw on Carolina's Twitter earlier that they already have a signed puck from Rantanen if you retweet it. And they're like, geez. Yeah, because we can. And it's right on Carolina's Twitter. So
I was going to say, Rico, I know Jeremiah was bringing up earlier about you like to bring up the hometown or the certain connections like that when you do betting. And my thing is like Rantanen and Aho, you got to think the factor of making this trade now for Carolina's sake is the fact that it's ahead of Four Nations. Yeah. And they're just hoping Rantanen and Aho rip it up for Team Finland. No. Maybe have a couple upsets,
I could see Carolina winning the cup with Rantanen. I just think long term.
No, I wasn't disputing what you were saying. I was just saying that the timing of the trade is very interesting because I think they want Aho and Rantanen to really rip it up for Finland and Four Nations.
Right.
To get together specifically, right?
Yeah, no, I think it was a brilliant move by Tulski. I think Tulski did we talk about GMs not having any balls. This guy put him on the table. You know what I'm saying? This was a huge move. This guy's got 2 bowling balls and went ka-clunk on the table. I thought it was an unbelievable move. And you know what, John? He didn't really give up any of their prospects.
No.
So, Andy Glue says he hears the Penguins are trying to move EK, Erik Karlsson, and Letang. One will definitely go. I think none will go, Andy, because I don't think anybody's going to take on that Karlsson deal. And if you're Pittsburgh, you want to retain money on him? Boy, that was the mistake of all mistakes. I remember when they were doing that, and I was like, why? I kept thinking, why? Anyway, I want to hear from Perlo on the Rantanen thing, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is the Penguins themselves. They're up for sale. So Perlo, or a portion of them are. Go ahead, Perlo.
Yeah, I found it interesting that Rantanen said that both McKinnon and Rantanen said they were pretty much blindsided by the trade. And that Rantanen would take less or what have you. I see what people are saying, or see how you can look at it and say Rantanen was really reliant on McKinnon, or McKinnon certainly makes you a better player without a doubt, no doubt about that. But I do remember when McKinnon did go down, there was a year and a half ago or something like that, and Rantanen played the middle for Carolina, and they went on a run, and he played absolutely fantastic. And I think in the end, you might see Carolina take him up on the middle, and I do think they're going to resign him. I really do, as long as he has a good 30 games or whatever. I do think because they have the cap space.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Helps a lot.
I'm glad you brought that up, Perlo, because we didn't talk about it, but Elliot Friedman reported that the offer from Colorado was to make him the highest paid winger in the league at $11.75 a year. And I know a lot of people were pointing to Draisaitl because they have the same agent. He's like, if that guy gets 14, I want 14. And I don't think that 14 is unreasonable for Mikko Rantanen, because we all know the cap is going up. You can't really look at these deals that have gotten done in the past, because if they prorated it on play, right, McDavid would easily be the highest paid player in the league every year. If they said, oh, your salary can raise on your performance or whatever, that would be a good idea, by the way, PA. You'll never do it. But also we talked about, I've always said, and you guys know this, if you draft a player, 20% of his salary doesn't count against the cap. It just makes teams focus on drafting and developing, and it helps with a lot of these cap problems. And so teams like Edmonton wouldn't have gotten undercut by a, waiver, however that is in the RFA, where you can give up picks. Offer sheet. I don't know why I was having a hard time saying. So, okay. Speaking of the Penguins. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, I agree with Perlo on the re-sign with Carolina. The one perspective I would say is that I wonder, and I've brought this up already a couple times, but if a team like Chicago or San Jose just goes, hey, Mikko, want $15 million a year, 7-year contract, what happens there? Because that's got to be at least $2 or $3 million more than what Carolina is willing to offer.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. If he's willing to go to a place like that, maybe might not be winning in the next little while to do that, or play with a Bedard on the wing, like that'd be like, or something like that.
Yeah. 15, but you get that
it's pretty hard to choke on $3 or $4 million. I don't care how much you're making. That's still a lot of money.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference for him. I'll say, I just think the big difference now that Carolina can offer him is that 8th year. So if Carolina offered him at like 13.5 for 8, and he goes, so let's say where he goes somewhere else, 14 for 7, I think it's still significantly more money if he gets that 8th year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They trade his rights so they can get
that could happen, but usually you don't get a ton for that. But yeah, they might be able to recoup a
mid-round draft pick.
Yeah, something like that, depending on if the team. So
hey, thanks, Milan. Let's go, Milan.
Yeah, Milan donated. I'm going to say nice. Milan Tomasevich. If I said that wrong, Milan, let me know. He says if JT Miller goes to New Jersey, Trey has to up the ante.
I guess he's talking about Trey Living. He's thinking
You're talking
Trey
about
Living
Brad Tree Living. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we
Maybe.
talked about this, and John, we talked about bringing this up, and I don't know if you want to do this.
No, I'm up for whatever. Shoot.
Okay, so today on Kipper's show, they were discussing I should not have opened that. They were discussing a trade, and I'll let Kipper bring it up. We'll just play the audio. And I should have had this queued up. I apologize.
I was gonna say, while we're waiting to queue it up, guys, smash that like button. We got to get 100 likes in here. I think we're at about 40. We need 100 likes right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, leave a like. We have 161 on all platforms, 54 on X, 108 in the Hot Take Hockey YouTube chat. Love it. I guess we lost Instagram. I don't know. Maybe we should still have it. It's still going. I saw Zarbian's in there, or Zarbian was in the Instagram. He was saying, "What's up?"
Brandon, I think the Kings might be busy, but them just getting Doughty back, I think they're more than happy with that at the very minimum. I think the fact that they're getting their stud on the back end. And here's the thing. I think Drew is silencing a lot of the haters. With the Kings being back on the up and up, he was playing really well last year. Like, we got to see more from Drew. Hopefully he's healthy.
Yeah, Perlo wants you to hit the like button if you know who the Hartford Whalers are. Hit one for Perlo.
There you go. Hit that like.
Okay.
You got the clip?
I don't have the clip. So essentially what it was Nick Kyprios and Justin Bourne were talking to each other, and he said, would you do this trade, Toronto Maple Leafs Nation? This is for all of you. Straight up, JT Miller for my main man, John, Hot Take Hockey's best friend on that team. He loves this man. Number 44 in your hearts, but number 1 in your program, if you're Hot Take Hockey, Morgan Riley. Would you do that trade?
So I have way too much bias in this.
I have so let's let Rico go for Rico go first, because Rico is also a Toronto Maple Leafs fan.
So
he lives in Barrie.
So my answer, and I'll let Rico go, was
we know you're not going to trade your boy.
I would have my ears a little bit more open for the other guy on Vancouver that's been in the rumors. But Rico, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I back that for sure. I'd rather have the other one, but I mean,
yeah, that would be sick.
Toronto's a bit of a tight room too, and Morgan Riley's probably one of the leaders in that room as well, and he shows up in the playoffs, even though he's just up and down a little bit during the regular season a bit this year. People are laying into him a little bit. I mean, you can't replace what he's been in the playoffs the last couple of years, arguably like the Leafs' best player, never mind best blue liner. I mean, he shows up. That's tough, man.
I was also going to say, Rico, that's such a good point in terms of the room and the gel in the room. Like, how many Rangers fans are just like licking their wounds on kicking Barclay Goodrow out of New York, and the Rangers just went downhill after that because he was one of the biggest gel guys. He was one of the biggest gel guys in that room. And again, everyone can shit on Riley on how he's playing. I was just talking to a couple of my family members and just saying, because they were asking me, and I was like, I mean, you could ask Morgan. If Morgan is honest about it, he hasn't had a good season. He hasn't played well.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I mean, again, I don't want to make excuses for the guy, whether it's personal stuff or.
Didn't he have a kid in the offseason? Like his first kid?
He just had his firstborn, and
that would change a lot of. Dude, I'm having problems managing 5 dogs. You got a living thing in your house, like.
So I know I'm not making excuses of the guy, but the guy's been here forever, man. Like, I just think about how much this guy's seen and been through, and I mean, people forget this guy was drafted in 2012. Like 2012. It's crazy.
Dude, he's unbelievable player. And it was really cool that night we got to see him. I thought it was super special, man. When it dawned on me, I was like, that is the greatest thing. I know how much you love that guy. John played defense and he knows it. And I feel like the defenders are the smart. You got the goalies and stuff. Anyway, I wanted to acknowledge Kashi Tumabarapura. Hey, I hope I said it close, man. I'm a Canes fan. I don't want this but if Rantanen doesn't sign by the deadline, trade Mikko to the Leafs for Marner and a second. Do you do that deal, Toronto Maple Leafs fans? And then obviously, Rico, you got to chime in on the Morgan Riley.
You know what? I probably would if it meant Mikko was coming on an extension, but I'll say this. I'm all about asset management. And from everything that I know right now, I think Mitch is coming back. And whether you agree with it or not. And again, here's the thing. And again, I don't want to put things in the environment, but I'll just enlighten everyone here for a second. Let's just think about the dumb contract that Mr. Kyle Dubas signed and put a no movement clause on the back end of Mitch Marner's contract. Brad Treliving can go, hey, Mitch, we know you want to be in Toronto. Let's not play games here. We'll give you the money, but no chance we're putting trade protection on that this time. So guess what? If you don't play and you don't earn your contract, there's no trade protection this time around.
Yeah,
because
I love it.
I think there was a lot more of a chance of Treliving trading Marner when he showed up, at least a few months in. But unfortunately, when he showed up, and I mean, Rico, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Treliving showed up and he had 30 days until Marner's no movement clause kicked in. This guy was shaking in his boots when he arrived. He's like, I'm not going to show up and trade one of the biggest stars in Toronto 20 days into my GM job here. So here's the thing. I think they'll give Marner the money. I think he'll stay. But the one thing I got to be firm on is I would be really disappointed as a fan and as a person that supports this team if they put trade protection on that. That would be tough.
Yeah. Dude, I love it.
What you're saying. Treliving, as soon as he stepped off that plane, he was walking through a wind tunnel that was already on fire at Pearson Airport. He's trying to run through it. But yeah, no, I think these talks in Marner have obviously probably started already. He's just been a motivated player this year. I think he just need to see it right to the end of the year and into the playoffs. And I think he's just going to win back the Leafs fans, because I remember not so long ago after the Leafs got exited in the playoffs last year, they wanted somebody's head, and his name was mentioned too. So they go ahead and change the coach. They kept everything the same. But, I mean, Mitch does so much for that team. He kills penalties. He rose when Matthews was out as well too. I mean, now Tavares is out. Mitch stays healthy. He plays the games, puts up close to 100 every year, kills penalties. He's always on the puck. But, I mean,
Rain has a good question in the chat for you guys. Perfetti, a 2025 first, Appleton, or a B prospect for Byram, who says no. This would be good for your buddy Riley to be here because he is the Buffalo Sabres fan. Perlo
honestly
hates Byram.
If Byram,
I don't hate Byram. Why do you say that?
If Byram came with an extension, I would consider that if I was Winnipeg, because I think Byram's going to be a stud long term. But they have Morrissey, so it's. I think Perfetti's on the rise, so I think Winnipeg says no unless Byram comes with an extension.
Yeah,
a good extension.
Oh, yeah. What I think he does. I think from what I've heard about Byram, he wants to be a top guy. The problem is, it made no sense. That trade made no sense. It worked out for Colorado, I think. I mean, Middlestat's been okay for them. I don't think he's been the second line center they hoped he would be. I think if they had to do it over, maybe Dylan Cousins, but I think at the time there was no way Buffalo was trading Dylan Cousins. And that one I think would have been really good for them. But I was Byram wanted top. Yeah, I was just saying it made no sense to trade Byram because he wanted top line minutes to Buffalo because they have on the left side Power and Dahlin. It makes no sense.
I mean, I guess I'll play devil's advocate on that side, Jeremiah, and I'll just say that I think for them they figured, okay, let's give Byram a shot. And at the time, like obviously Power was just fresh, and like Dahlin was going through his inconsistencies a little bit. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like since that trade, or at least last year, Dahlin put like any doubters to bed. Like this year, again, Dahlin looks like a star when he's in the lineup. Like he's one of the best defensemen in the league.
Yeah.
I will say
they struggled, and they struggled a lot when he was out. No one was saying, "Oh, Rasmus Dahlin is injured. That's why Buffalo's not playing well."
Isn't that crazy that losing streak occurred and the headlines were not saying the Buffalo Sabres are on one of the worst losing streaks in recent memory without their captain and best defenseman, Rasmus Dahlin? Like that part, I missed that part of the headline.
And they never once mentioned Dahlin being out, but he was out the entire time. That's the kind of stuff we cover on this show. So if you're a real fan, you'll come and watch. By the way, Calgary just tied it, so it's 1-1 in Calgary. And Anaheim is 2-1. Losing 2-1 to Seattle in Seattle on the mother's trip for the Seattle Kraken.
So Anaheim's up 2-1 on Seattle. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No.
Seattle's up 2-1 on Anaheim.
But
in
Perlo,
Seattle.
did you have Ducks money line or cover?
I have Ducks money. I still think they're going to win.
All right, we gotta
surprised that
watch
they
that
got
It's in the
comeback.
first. It's in the
I'm
first.
surprised they
Okay.
got 2 goals on 3 shots on that kid, but
The night's young.
happens.
I
Oh,
was
here's
going to
one.
say, I keep
go ahead.
going back to Calgary and Chicago for Byram, by the way. And especially if Byram wants to be that number one guy on the left side. Calgary's thin on that left side. Their top 2 defensemen are both right shot guys. And for Chicago, outside of Korchinski and Vlasic, I still think they could get a number one offensive guy. Korchinski could be that offensive guy, but I still think Chicago is trying to build that defense crew. And hey, there's been a lot of Seth Jones rumors, so I'll put that out there. But I like this comment from Adam.
Yeah. By the way, 200 in the chat. 200 in the chat. Leave a like, subscribe. We're going to be doing this every night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. Perlo is our handicapper, gambling extraordinaire. Rico is the best goal scoring prop expert. He's also our French correspondent, too. Rico, give him a little French.
On va avoir des buts à Toronto demain soir.
Let's go. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any
And
French
we're
hockey
30 likes away
trash.
from 100. Let's do it.
And we got a dono in the chat from Scarby. A lot of hockey left, Perlo. You got this. And
Yes,
then
Perlo. Thanks
yeah,
for the
she's
dono.
just talking about the bet. Thank you. And by the way, it's tied. Anaheim just tied at 2-2.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Look, Perlo's. You can't
guess
see
who
it,
the-
chat, but
guess
he
who
is
the
jumping
goal-
up and down.
Guess who the goal scorer was? He made a lot of headlines this offseason.
Trevor Zegras,
Nope.
another headliner.
He asked for a trade.
Mr. Jacob Trouba.
No. Jacob Trouba didn't ask for a trade.
For a trade out of Anaheim,
Cutter Gauthier. I thought you would get it right away. Cutter
Oh,
Gauthier.
Cutter Gauthier.
Noche, always
Okay.
Philadelphia. Right
I don't
on.
want to get too far from Adam's comment here. Adam says, I have heard Detroit wants to upgrade their top 4D at the deadline. Maybe it's a deal with Pittsburgh for Pettersson and Hall and some other pieces. Oh, you would just love Dubas getting Hall back, wouldn't you, John? Wouldn't you be able to run with that one? The Toronto media. I could hear Sam McKee cackling and Justin Bourne, who, by the way, has thrown his former boss under the bus a ton of times on the radio there. But no biggie.
Who's the bigger bio candidate this offseason? Justin Hall or Brandon Saad after the news today?
Well, so Saad got set down. Yeah, and I was going to put that up for you guys. That was
Put on
brought up-
waivers.
That was brought up in the chat. I've got it right here. I think I saw it from Saravelli first, but Friedman had it, and he goes, St. Louis says Brendan Saad is going on waivers today. He has one more yet, 4-5. I think he has 3 goals and 4. He doesn't have much
No.
this year.
You know
So-
what? I had said that, especially for the I kept bringing it up. So Saad was actually teammates with Trocheck and Junior, I believe. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they played in, together with Windsor, I believe, in the OHL. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, something like that the Rangers should utilize. Like St. Louis, I'm sure they'd be willing to retain some salary. I feel like Saad just needs to change the scenery. He's still got some motor left, I think.
Oh, they can claim him now. I mean, they can
But-
pick
but
him
I-
up.
But I think
They
you don't want
have
to
the cap room.
Yeah, well, you don't want to take that whole 4.5. I was saying St. Louis retained 50%. You cut that in half, 2.25 for the guy. Brandon Saad, third liner, could score 10, 15 goals. What's wrong with that? So, I mean, I don't know. I think the St. Louis Blues, they were probably being a little stubborn on that aspect. But I see a lot of the comments on Pettersson. I feel like we probably, Rico, I think we skipped Jeremiah's question on the Miller stuff. But I mean, I think you and I are probably more on the Pettersson vibe. But I mean, Friedman dropped a bomb Saturday night saying he thinks Pettersson's favorite landing spot, or at least the favorite landing spot right now, is Buffalo. So Sabres fans are obviously licking their chops on that one right now for Pettersson and Dahlin to be together, the Swedish connection.
Well, who do you give up though? Like, I think Dylan Cousins for Pettersson is a good deal for Buffalo.
Oh, it'd have to be much more than that, I would think.
I mean, who's taking who? By the way, Jennifer Kate, 44-month member. Hey, John, hope you're well. It's good to see you live streaming again. Yes, Jennifer, it will be the 3 old guys for a lot of this time, but John will come on when we can get him on. And our numbers reflect 202 in the chat. We love it. Blended family. Hot take hockey.
Go.
Besser will be traded before Miller or Petey. I don't disagree with that, Blended. I think Besser's the easier guy to move. How about dark horse Besser to Minnesota? But I wonder if Minnesota makes a strong move now. And I also like Brock Nelson to the Winnipeg Jets. But what did I miss?
Yeah, I'm with SK and Andrew in the chat. I think Buffalo has definitely put Byram and Cousins on the table for Pettersson. I think if that was the deal, it would have been done by now. I think Cousins and Power would get it done, but Buffalo's not moving Power, I don't think.
No, there's no way. If you're moving Power, you're keeping Byram. I think Byram and Cousins.
I think it's got to be a third piece in there. My hot take, and I was saying to Riley, and I think Riley, if you're still in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you put on the table Cousins, Byram, and then put one of those young, intriguing pieces like a Jack Quinn or Zach Benson, I think that gets it done for Pettersson. I think it needs to be a third asset in there. And Vancouver, they don't care for draft capital right now because I think they're trying to change the ship around. And Rutherford said it himself. If they're going to rebuild it, that means Quinn Hughes is gone, and they want Quinn Hughes to be a Vancouver Canuck for life.
I heard today that Quinn Hughes doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Can you imagine?
No, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't want to be. No way.
So can you imagine? Well, what are they going to do if they trade Pettersson and Miller? They're in a rebuild. They're going to have to. They're not going to get equal value back.
But it would have to be roster-ready players. So that's what I'm saying. That package that they get back from Buffalo, Cousins, automatically can be – I think – here's the thing. I still think Dylan Cousins can be a 1B type of center. I'm still high on Cousins. People can hate. I've watched this guy quite a bit. I watched him in the World Championships. I watched him heading into the NHL. I think Cousins has a higher ceiling. And Byram, we just said it, Jeremiah. I think Byram just wants an opportunity. Imagine he's playing consistent top pair minutes with Quinn Hughes.
Oh, I love that move. I would do that move tomorrow if I'm Vancouver. I just don't. I mean, you has to be Pettersson. You're not getting that for JT Miller. I think JT Miller, they're going to eat SHI 2T hockey sticks on. They're going to suck on that one, guys. And I think Rutherford, that's basically why he did the interview with the Globe and Mail today, which, by the way, couldn't have come at a worse time because Vancouver won 2 in a row for the first time in however. And I didn't get that one. Did you guys read that article or listen to that interview?
No.
Okay, so essentially, Jim Rutherford told this writer for the Globe and Mail, and I'm sorry his name escapes me. You could look at it.
I saw a couple quotes, but I didn't listen.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Rick Dollywall potentially.
Rick Dollywall, they interviewed him. That show he has on YouTube, they interviewed the guy for 11 minutes. You can check that out. I'll shoot out the link on my Twitter after the show's over. Washington just scored, by the way, to make it 2-1. And I think it was Dylan Strome, and it is 3-2 Seattle and the live games that we have going on. Just a quick recap. If you're just joining us, this is NHL Nightly. Me, Rico, and Perlo will be here 5 days a week starting now, 10 o'clock Eastern. And then I'm going to live stream from time to time. And Hot Take Hockey is still going to be doing all his great content on this stuff. And he's going to be joining us when he can. But he has 10 jobs, man. What are you going to do? 10's right, John? It sounds like that.
Yeah, I'm in a hotel room right now, so I'm on the job.
You're on the road again.
Okay. No, I'm joking. I was gonna say I'm responding to emails on the side here, but I'm joking. I'm not actually doing that.
Yeah, and we know you got to get to doing some of that actually. So, just recap scores: Avalanche lose to Islanders 5-2. Islanders are coming on crazy, weird. Tony DeAngelo too. We didn't talk about that signing. They signed him. He skates 25 minutes for him. I loved the signing. I think the BS that's made up about Tony DeAngelo and the locker room stuff, I think he's a solid guy with his teammates. I think a lot of teammates that have played with Alexander Georgiev have had problems and have said such. Anyway, I don't know about you guys. What are your thoughts?
Let's bring it back to Perlo.
Yeah, Perlo. Yeah. What do you think of that signing?
Lamoriello is weird because he always talks about defense, and that's not what.
Well, Dotson got injured too. I think that was kind of I think
it's sort of a desperation move.
I like the Perunovich.
I wish the best for DeAngelo.
The Perunovich one's a nice one.
He worked his butt off in the KHL to get back into the NHL, and he got himself a contract, so good for him. But I will see how many legs it has that he stays in. On the island, but they needed defenseman, and he was there. So,
I was gonna say, Jeremiah, I'm seeing a couple comments, including from Skinner. Is Boston cooked after that Buffalo game? I was gonna say before I head off, could we get Riley in for a couple minutes?
Yeah. Do you want me to shoot him the link? Just DM the link, and
that'd be awesome.
Just click the invite, copy. I'll do
Let's
it for you.
Riley. Let's go.
I'll do it. What's his Twitter handle? What's
All
his
right,
Twitter?
I'll add you guys into a group together. We gotta chat. We gotta chat with this guy. Get a Sabres take. But I mean, the quick take on that is I don't know if it was it coach or GM. I'm trying to think. Either way, there was a message that Boston playoff hockey would begin tonight, and then they got smacked around by the Sabres.
Yeah,
That's a tough one.
I love it because I love Buffalo. I want to see their fans, and they got to see something special tonight. Is Riley coming? We got.
Yep, I'm adding you into a group with him on Twitter right now.
Do you need me to? Okay. Do you need me to? You're doing it on DM, right?
Yep. And let's see. Yeah, the Hattie from Tage is unreal.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the DM yet, but
I just sent out a tweet.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I couldn't figure it out. I just sent out the tweet. It's a tweet.
Okay.
But Hattie for Tage and wait, did Peterka get a Hattie too?
Yeah, they both got.
Yeah, Peterka and Tage. Yeah, double Hatties. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Two hat tricks.
I saw the double Hattie comment.
Yeah,
I thought Peterka only got 2.
I was saving it for Riley to come on. So I have to DM him the link. So Riley, just shoot me a DM at beard_sports. I will get the banner going. There we go. I call it the Hot Take Hockey Network, but that hasn't been defined. Hot Take Hockey.
Also, we are 17 likes away from 100. I think we got to get there before I hop off.
Let's go. Please leave a like, subscribe, turn on noties. We're going to be doing this live 5 days a week.
I can't see it. How many we got on YouTube? Is it still around 140?
We are crushing it. We have 132 in YouTube, 79 live on X. We have 212 people. This is unbelievable, boys.
Debut show. It's only going to go up from here. We've gained about 5 subscribers so far. So let's keep her going. Make sure you guys go follow the Sports Beard, Rico and Perlo on X as well. They're going to be shooting out some tweets and some hot takes. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, guys. We're going 100K. With the NHL Nightly Show on, we're on our way to 100K.
This is like the second largest hockey channel on YouTube. It's getting up there. Like, there's Spittin' Chicklets. What's the hockey guy at? What's Steve Dangle?
200,000, I think.
Okay, the hockey guy's up there.
I guess the perspective is obviously this is like a consistent now live streaming plus mixed hockey channel in terms of coverage. So unique situation.
Yeah. Don't want to butt in, but you guys got to watch the Grubauer save he just made a little later on. Go check it out. It's like
I'm seeing it right now above. It's a nice one. It's a nice one. Gruby robbed him. 3-2 in that game, Seattle. By the way, Seattle has 6 shots on goal and 3 goals. Not good. Whoever's in net. So yeah.
Ice Sports. I think Atlanta and Houston are the next 2. We could talk about that in another show and more in depth, but I do think those are the next 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll go into it. We'll do a whole expansion episode in the off season. We got time to kill. We got so much going on. Trades galore. We didn't even get to Logan Thompson signing the 6-year, $5.95 million deal. I love it. I'd love it if it was less, but I love it. I'd love it if it was 5 years, not 6, but I don't mind it at all, guys. He's played unbelievable. I think he's first and he's up there. He's been unbelievable. And Calgary's was out shooting the Capitals almost 2-1. Now it's 20-18. But again, he's only made the one mistake, and he just made another great save on a 2-on-1. So new rule: if you lose 2 NHL franchises, you're out. Sorry, Atlanta. I don't have a problem with it. Mike Gilmore, nice Bears logo. I think Houston's going to get a real shot. And dude, it makes no sense to not have one in Arizona.
No, I'm with you. I think the only devil's advocate I'll play on the Atlanta take from you is that TNT, the coverage that they're bringing to the table, and they're right there. So that's the factor that hasn't been existing in the past, right?
Right. And they're going to put it in an area where it will grow, and hockey is going to be huge in Georgia. I can't wait for this SEC to have Division I hockey. It's coming.
I think eventually it'll come.
Look, Florida has 2 of the best hockey teams. They've won 3 Stanley Cups in the last 5 years. between Tampa Bay and the Florida Panthers. And they've played,
Yeah.
Florida's played in one and Tampa played in the other. So in the last 6 years, there's been a team from Florida in the finals.
Yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference with the rise of Florida hockey, for sure.
Yeah, we're seeing it now. And it just takes 20 to 25 years. Look at all the kids that came out of St. Louis. Pat Maroon was talking about it. Mike McKenna. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a benefit of the St. Louis hockey program, and the Arizona hockey programs. That's why I'd like to see it go back to Arizona, because their youth movement. And you can't tell me one of the flagship NHL franchises has 2 kids from Arizona, and Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. And Tage Thompson grew up in Arizona too. So he played high school hockey in Alaska for a bit. He played all over, but his dad was a coach. So we lost Hot Take there for a minute. Let's pop him out and go to the see what happens. Lankinen is best, 900,000 grand. Yeah, Lankinen was a nice pickup. Lefty around. Oh, we got John back. Okay. Do you have to take a call? Sorry.
No, we're good. I'm just trying to get Riley in here.
Yeah, I just need to DM them the link. I
just sent him the link. We're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't see his Twitter handle on your retweet. Oh, there it is, Buffalo Analytics. Now I see it. My thing didn't. I could have done it for him.
No, it's all good. I sent it.
Okay.
I'm with you. I think Arizona deserves it. I'll say, and I know I've said this to you, Jeremiah, I'm down in Texas a lot, and I went to a Leaf Stars game last year. Stars fans, I know we see it on national television. Stars fans are invested. I was in a blue jersey in a section at American Airlines Center, and it was all green around me. And that's a huge factor. Here's the thing. I go to a lot of other arenas, and there's a lot of
Leaf fans.
Well, yeah, that. But I was also going to say there's a lot of people with just plain jackets on or just streetwear or anything like that, where I go to American Airlines Center and the whole section, they're supporting their team. They got green. They've got apparel on. They've got jerseys. So I'm just saying Dallas Stars fans are really passionate. They're really invested in a city that has the Mavs, the Cowboys. So I'm just saying that the Stars are really invested. They've obviously gone on a couple runs recently, but I think you put a team in Houston there, especially in how big that market is. It's one of the massive markets in the U.S. I think that would create a huge rivalry in Texas for hockey. And like I said, it was a process for Florida hockey to get going. We're talking about over a decade, couple decades, frankly. But finally, when the Panthers became successful, now we see the Battle of Florida. Like Jeremiah, 10 years ago, the Battle of Florida wasn't even thought about. It wasn't even a conversation. Now with those two teams competitive, it's a conversation. Yeah. So it won't happen.
I'd like to go to regional divisions too, because I feel like, Nashville could have a lot of little rivalry there too. Their youth programs are growing. Look, and you just got to wait 20 to 25 years. And this is when Bettman talks about growing the game. We should talk about Bettman too. It did come out that the end is nigh for Gary Bettman. We think 2 more years. I think he'll finish out the new contract deal in Canada, and I think he will sail off into the sunset. And all he will have done, and I know he gets booed all the time, is just quadruple the size of the NHL and the value for the franchises, which is good. It makes people want to be invested in it. People don't understand. These owners, these billionaires, they don't like losing money. They want to make money. And so hockey is a money-making machine right now. So it's awesome.
For sure. Yeah. Also, I was going to say, this is a conversation for another day, but Northern Boys just dropped it. I mean, again, I know it's created some good in-division rivals, as you said, but I want the 1-8 format back so bad. I'm tired of this format.
You know what? I don't know that it changes much. I think, John, my theory on it. They did it so Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby had to play each other in the playoffs. They made it that way, so those two had to play each other in the playoffs. How many cups would Ovechkin won if it had been a different thing? Maybe matchups are 9/10 of the thing. How many times the Leafs win if they don't have to play Tampa or Boston in the first round? You know what I'm saying? They beat Tampa finally. They kind of slayed that dragon, and I think if they played Tampa again in the first round. But now the Leafs might win their division, which they should. They're probably going to get a little bit of a cupcake to play, unless it's Boston, and then it'll be a nightmare.
But everyone's laughing at Boston getting smacked around. They slip in as the second wild card, Rico, and then they play Toronto.
How brutal would that be?
I was gonna say the Leafs haven't played in this era, or even frankly in the last 20 years. The Leafs haven't played Boston and had home ice advantage. It hasn't happened. So that's a factor. I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Boston, TD Garden, Game 7 is all the nightmares. But the Leafs haven't played Boston with the home ice advantage. So that's something to think about. We're also 10 likes away from 100. I know you guys can do it.
Yes, get in there.
Likes.
We have 205 between the X. Hey, by the way, X, you can chime in. We can see your comments in the chat. So if you want to talk, chime in. I'm trying to get as many of them as I can. Darkness, our good man, says, Bettman gets booed, but as a commish, he did a great job growing the game, which is good enough for me. Yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000%, Darkness. And I know Perlo was in the chat. Perlo's in the chat. Rico be in the chat. It's going to be hard for me to get good at reading this much people in the chat. So we're used to a little bit of a different number when we do our show. So I appreciate you guys. And thank you for being patient with me. If you have something I missed that you really want to talk at the show, and I'll see it highlighted at Hot Take Hockey, and then I will see your comment highlighted. So that helps. That helps. If it's a question you want to hear us discuss. So, okay. I'm going to say you guys all like the Logan Thompson deal. The Emil Lindbergh suspension, I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't know. It didn't seem the worst thing, but he gets a couple games. And have we jumped the shark with goalie interference? I saw one.
That
Go
call
ahead.
with no, I was just gonna say it was what was it, Vancouver St. Louis last night? That was a joke of a call. I don't know if you guys saw that, but St. Louis needs justice on that one. I know that Vancouver's kind of a nightmare internally right now, but they got blessed with that one last night, and they come away with the victory. And Vancouver strung a couple of wins together, but yeah, you know what? It's kind of back to that conversation a little bit again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Ice has a question. He says, "Why? Who does Chicago get as a head coach?" I think Chicago's going to keep that Sorensen guy. Yeah, I haven't seen Riley's request, and I sent him the link, so I don't know what's happening there. He might have had to download. Riley, if you're using your iPhone, you just use Safari. And if you're an Android guy, you need to use Chrome. Or if you're on your laptop, you got to use Chrome. So giving you some live feed.
He'll figure it out, I'm sure.
So, Canucks fan love the call. Canucks fan says,
I wonder why.
That was a great call. That was a great. You know what? I said this. I said this when McDavid got away with his little dirty elbow on Marcus Johansson and he got put on the IR and no one talks about it. He didn't even get penalized for it. I said, be careful what you do and put out there. The hockey gods will get you. And then McDavid does a little cross check to Garland, who's a rat and who anybody would want. I'm like, if Vancouver's trading people, I'd love Connor Garland on my team. All that dude does is score goals and piss people off. You know, crazy. But I'm saying, don't tempt the hockey gods, man. Like, you've thrown out that bad juju that you got away with maybe a soft one. It comes back in the end. All these calls balance themselves out. I tell you, you don't want that negative stuff in the universe. So I feel like they play such a clean game now. Nobody wants to take a penalty because everybody's power plays. You got to have such a higher percentage of scoring and stuff. But it's still an exciting game, and you still get the grit and the grime and the checking and stuff, depending on the skill level of the team. I mean, you still get that a little bit. So, yeah. So while we're waiting for Riley, let's just recap the other games, and then we got to talk about tomorrow's games, guys. So, I was going to get Mike in here too.
Let's
dial in, Mike.
I was going to say energize.
We got Riley.
That's not a fair one for Pittsburgh, but
okay.
Josh Norris, not a good contract, injury prone.
Yeah, I think the Ottawa's going to have a hard time offloading Josh Norris. Okay, here's Riley. We're going to talk about his Buffalo Sabres. 2 hat tricks, Tage Thompson, JJ Peterka. Riley, what's going on, man? So nice to talk to you in person for a change.
Let's go. The Sabres merch. Let's go.
Yeah, great show, guys. I've been tuning in since the jump. I think this is going to be a hit. It's been very fun to watch so far, so very energetic.
Sweet.
Love it.
Dude, I love it, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Also got our good friend Mike, the Degenerate Bostonian. We call him the Degenerate because he bets on Frisbee golf and wins money. He's a great college hockey expert. Mike, say hey to everybody. Mike will be with us when we do our gambling picks. And then he does the college hockey show with me on Fridays at 2 on my channel, The Sports Beard. So we'll still be doing that there. 2 p.m.
I was
Eastern.
gonna say, Scar B saying we're 1 like away. Let's get it. Let's
All
do it.
right. Yep. The wife in there cracking the whip. That's she's the supportive one. That's us at MSG, her profile photo there.
So Ryan, I was saying I have to hop off here in a hot sec, but before I hop off, I had to stick around for the take after tonight, smacking the Bruins away with the double hattie. And what do you think about your boys right now and all the PD rumors?
Oh, the boys were firing on all cylinders. They wanted to give PD on his night off a nice show. Peterka and Thompson. Byram looked really good today as well.
I was gonna say, Peterka and Thompson, maybe his future line mates or what?
Yeah, I don't know. But I will say we didn't really outplay them that much. I think Swayman is just terrible. Swayman has had such a terrible year. Most of those shots honestly shouldn't have gone in. The first two were just unbelievable plays. But yeah, Swayman.
Because we missed camp. It's because we missed camp.
I get that. That, but Swayman has been he's been terrible.
I'm only going to defend him, Riley, because I live in Anchorage and he's an Anchorage, Alaska boy. So I don't even care about the Bruins, but Sway is my guy. So, Mike will tell you, he saw him play at the University of Maine, Black Bears, go Black Bears, best college unis, by the way. He's pretty loved in New England. So Don Sweeney and Cam Neely wrote the book on what not to do when you have 2 UFA goalies. Don't trade one before you have an extension for another, you dumbass. And then don't blame the biggest hockey
and then throw
podcast.
Blame back at him.
Oh, my God. And you know who the spitting chicklets are, bro. Don Sweeney. You look like an ass clown. Sorry. Good God. That's why I'm rooting against him, because Don Sweeney's so arrogant. And he, blah, 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 we're going to do. Oh, really?
Bruins fans are on him right now.
Oh, I know. Mike will tell you he's in Boston. He's a Bruins fan. He's been saying forever, fire Sweeney and Neely forever. He's been saying it. The only reason
2 seasons now.
Yeah, I just like Riley and the Buffalo Sabres fans talking about Kevin Adams, right? You guys got to be done with him.
We've given him so much a leash. It's unbelievable. I loved him for the first couple of years. Now, obviously, he's wore out his welcome with me. But speaking of arrogance out of Boston, in the first intermission, I saw a clip on Twitter about one of the Boston reporters who's on TV for them. He's been on there for years. I can't remember his name.
Jaffe?
Yes, it is him. And
he's great.
He is great, but he was going off on how poor of a team the Sabres are and how Boston should be wiping the floor with them, all this, all that. And that because it was tied 1-1 at the first period, he was like, "Oh,
Boston scored first, Lowry."
Yeah, and he was like, "Buffalo's gonna try everything they can do to lose this game, so you better win it." And then Buffalo just came out and smacked them the rest of the game. So that was real nice. Tons of arrogance in Boston, though, that's for sure.
Well, they've had success.
That's true.
They keep making They don't win the Stanley Cup, but since 2011, we're like, they've been, we were talking about this the other night before we came over to the Hot Take Hockey page. Again, welcome. We're so happy to be here. One could argue Boston's been as successful as LA and all, Chicago and stuff. They went to all these finals. If they'd have just won 1 or 2 more, I mean, they'd be right there. But just like the Red Wings who went 20 years, eventually the hockey gods come a-calling. The Piper comes a-calling. Age catches up to you. And when you've drafted as spectacularly bad as the Boston Bruins have, you deserve every bit of this. They have voted the worst prospect system. They didn't have a single player at the World Juniors for any country.
That's crazy.
It's sad, man. Mike, you want to throw a little 2 cents on the Bruins there?
I mean, they actually stopped doing draft parties back in 2015. They just stopped doing it. That's how bad it's been.
Well, and the Boston fan base has got to be one of the more intelligent hockey fan bases out there. They know the game. It's so Mike can tell you within a square mile. We just had the Beanpot starts Monday, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
This next Monday, a huge tournament. Everybody in New England knows the Beanpot, and we just had BU and BC play each other. In fact, Hot Take Hockey and I were talking about it, and Macklin Celebrini had to wear the BC jersey because Will Smith, his counterpart, went to BC. So it's crazy times.
I was gonna say, Mike, just quick question. Because I was talking to my buddy about this. Like, was the Dean Letourneau pick, was that like right away, just like you guys were losing your shit, or was it like, okay, this guy's got the size, he's got the physical attributes? Because you're a college guy, obviously he's been playing for BC this year. But then also at the same time, you see like Teddy Stiga, the world junior hero, playing on the same team, and I think he's like a point per game. So where's your head at with that?
So when they drafted Letourneau, I truly
Teddy Stiga
couldn't say enough great things on how excited I was for him.
There's the jersey, by the way, for everybody.
Stiga's been, I think, my favorite player actually to watch at BC, besides the big names, obviously Leonard Perreault, Hagens. But a lot of people are ripping on Letourneau because he's got 2 assists on the year and that's it. But he's only played center for 4 games. He's a natural centerman. So I'm still keeping faith in him.
He's a young kid too. He hasn't grown into his body. You met him in person. Mike, if you look at Mike's Twitter, which is scrolling in the bottom.
Oh, is that who's in your profile picture?
Yeah, that's Dean. Yeah, I got to meet him.
Yeah,
I actually met his mom too. He's a super nice family, but he's only
as
played
much of a giant as he looks like on the ice. Like he's 6'7", right?
Yes.
Yeah, Mike, you're around my height, right? You're 6 foot, 6'1".
I'm 5'10".
Okay, you're 5'10". My bad. But anyway, you weren't that far. I'm like 6 foot. We met at the Frozen Four. So yeah, this Letourneau kid, he looks like a beanpole, John. A lot like you, actually. Because John, if you met John, he's 6'3". He's tall as hell. So I flashed the thing. He had to wear Will Smith's jersey anyway. Okay. I know you got to get going, John.
Yeah, I was going to hop off. I was going to say, the only thing I'll say is, like, obviously Boston traded a lot of picks away, but I was just, because I was trying to think of where Lysell got picked. Like, where Bruins
2015 draft, that 2015 draft. Wasn't it Lysell?
No. Lysell was 21. It was more recent. I know you're talking about which draft, but I was thinking, like, where's your head, Mike? Like, is it just because they haven't gotten steals? Because, like, the last 3 before what was it? It was Lowry, then Lysell, and then
Lowry's good.
Yes.
I mean, they still got, like, from their top picks in those drafts, they still got, like, contributors to the team. I'm forgetting
they're playing
the
now.
third guy I was thinking about.
We're saying they don't have any.
Patra.
Patra was a good pick too, but he hasn't really. He's playing in the HL this year, isn't he? For the most part, I know
he's playing again.
He's on the NHL now.
He was called up a few weeks ago, or a month ago, or so.
The issue's been like who they're going after. Like, I actually talked to the Bruins scouts, and they're looking at more goaltending. I'm like, why? We have 3 already in the college system, and 2 prospects down below. Like, it's ridiculous. And
they just spam into an 8-year extension. It just shows that they don't have any continuity between their scouting and what the front office is doing. It feels very disconnected.
Well, they're saying to draft more 4th liners. I'm like, we have enough 4th liners. We have more 4th liners than Jesus himself. Like, how about we go try to get somebody good? And that's been the issue. We're kind of grilling Sweeney and Neely for.
Yeah.
Oh, Rico's cat's making an appearance.
I was gonna say, I don't know if did we read the Dono Kilo?
No, I didn't do it because I didn't want to interrupt your points. Kilo says,
$2.
Kilo, James,
thank you, Kilo.
Roditellino. I think I said that right. Let me know. I'm new to hockey. I wish I knew as much as y'all. Yep, I have no life, Kilo. Dude. I watch nothing but hockey all day. I get up at 5 a.m. and listen to hockey stuff, and I don't stop talking about it until after I'm done with this show. And then I finish the midnight game. So, John, thank you so much.
Thanks for having all of this come together, guys. And Riley, what's your going out take for the Sabres? Because I know you wanted to join. I know you're itching, but we gotta get you on for more Sabres talk.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing on the Sabres. Also, Kilo, if you're new to hockey, do not become a fan of the Buffalo Sabres. It's the worst life possible. The Perfetti thing earlier, I think that was a good value trade. I just don't know where Perfetti fits into the lineup. Like, Perfetti in a first for Byram, I would take that in a heartbeat value-wise, but I just don't know if it really fits.
You take Perfetti and a first for Byram? Don't you feel like
I don't know if the Jets are doing that, though.
You have a lot of Perfettis on your team, though, don't you?
I think that's why.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make sense, but for value wise, like, that's
you get something for Byram. You need to get something for Byram. for sure.
I would like to see him stay in our top 4, unless it's for Pettersson. That's for
so
sure.
would you trade? I want to ask you this, Riley, since we're talking about the Bills sorry about the Bills, by the way. I'm assuming you're a Buffalo Bills fan too.
Yeah.
Rico is too, man. He's rooting for the Bills hardcore. He's a hardcore Bills fan. So I think everybody in America was just anybody but the Chiefs and the Eagles, and we got exactly that. So
Yeah.
there are people like, we're not watching the Super Bowl, man. But I think I'm gonna go skiing that weekend, man.
Yeah.
But would you trade somebody over Byram like Power or obviously I feel like you wouldn't trade Darlene, but maybe trade Power?
I would not. I would
Okay.
not trade Power, but that's just because Pettersson, I don't know if he's a 1C on a Stanley Cup winning team, to be honest with you.
I don't think he is.
That's what he's being sold as right now, especially.
Well, that's what his salary is paying him as too.
Exactly. So,
by the way, Anaheim just scored tied it up 3-3.
Oh, there you go. So I was gonna say, Ashley, thank you for that. It's been a while. I had to do a quick daily dono. Hi, John. Hey, Ashley, appreciate that. Thank you for the dono. So Riley, the deal I had on the table for you, if Canucks call and they say last offer, take it or leave it, you're talking Bowen Byram, Dylan Cousins, BC boy Zach Benson. When I say BC boy, no. British Columbia.
Dude, I swear you said Rosine or Oslin. I was
no. But here's my thing.
Yes, McTavish.
I told you, yes, you could go in the lower tier of prospects, but what I'm talking about is I think Vancouver. I think the deal would have been done by now. I think if it was like a Byram, Cousins, and Oslin or something like that, I think that deal would have been done by now. I think Buffalo is giving that in a heartbeat. I think it's a matter of that upper tier, Jack Quinn or Zach Benson.
So if you guys follow Chad DiDomenicis on...
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Rico had a goal-scoring prop tonight, guys.
Let's go.
Another goal-scoring prop from Rico.
This kid's on fire right now. Mason McTavish. He's pumped the net in the last 3 games.
I didn't even know he put it up there. I already had him. This McTavish is on fire right now.
Well, you didn't watch the video I tweeted out earlier with your picks?
No, I had it before you did the video, before you did anything. That's all. I did watch the video.
Almost got through the episode without screwing up, Perlo. Okay. And Perlo in the chat. Boom, McTavish got it. Yep. Rico had it when it was in the video, if you watched it. So anyway, Andrew Bouchane says, congrats, bro. John Riley, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to preview the games for tomorrow. You're welcome to stay, Riley, if you want.
But last thing, Riley, deal or no deal on that deal? You're saying no deal?
With Benson, no. With Oslin, you could even do Quinn.
Jack Quinn?
Rosine,
okay.
I do any of those. You can't touch the BC boy, Zach Benson. He's my favorite player, dude. Can't touch him.
Right.
He's nasty too, man. Like, he's nasty. Oh. He's going to be a 50-goal guy, I think.
Oh, he's so good. Anyways, I'll take off with John.
All right, guys. Peace. Okay. Lots of love. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment, support these guys. It's going to be a sweet show. Can't wait to keep rolling out this streams and content for you guys. All right. So have a good night.
Keep bringing the heat, fellas. Keep bringing the heat. I love it.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, Riley.
Cheers, guys.
It was awesome.
Close it out well. Guys. Let's go.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. John, thank you so much. All right, sweet boys. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for holding off.
Props.
Let's get John off here. Appreciate you guys, man. That was awesome. Okay. We're not done, guys. Don't leave. We're going to preview tomorrow's games. Before we do that, let's just talk real quick about tonight's games. We still got 2 live games. Capitals are up 2-1 with 18:39 left to go in that game. And the Stars are up 2-1 on the Golden Knights. We haven't even talked about that game. It's 2-1. I'm sorry, the Golden Knights are up 2-1. And yes, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Leave a like. We're trying to get to those 100 likes. How are we doing on the likes there? Have we gotten to 100 likes? We're at 109. Let's go. Let's get to 115. Leave a like, please. Subscribe. Appreciate you. Okay, Ducks and Kraken are all squared up. I don't know. I must have lost that game, but I totally forgot about the Gold Knights and Stars, and that's the jerseys I put up behind me tonight. So that was a good one on me. Okay. So early games, Islanders, Avalanche, that's a big upset, 5-2. All of a sudden, the Islanders are winning a bunch of games. This is crazy. And we didn't even talk about it. They got in a trade today. Perunovich, former Obi Baker winner, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mike. You guys have any thoughts on that trade?
I just sit there and struggle. I want to see Colorado go get another goalie. I don't like the Woods, but
Okay,
I thought the trade was good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Colorado in this game. I think they got a couple empty netters there. It was a lot closer game. I think so. Like the 5-2 isn't really indicative of Colorado playing bad. I think
it was 4-2 with an empty netter.
Right, yeah, but still, like both goals were pretty late in the game. Romanov's goal was pretty late, so yeah. Anyway, I'm not worried. Hurricanes look pretty good against the Rangers. The poor Rangers have had to play the Avalanche and the Hurricanes since the trade, so like I kind of feel bad for the Rangers on this one. Guys,
they played.
Yeah, Carolina was playing a solid man-on-man.
I thought the Rangers played a pretty good game, and if Kreider scores that tap in, it's 2-1 or 1-1. I don't know, man. Like
it wasn't bad, but if Carolina keeps on playing like that back to where they were again, they're probably going to be doing pretty well moving forward. They played really well that game.
Who
better
says?
than I've seen them for a while.
Okay, raise your hand if you feel like Carolina is probably the best team in the East now with Rantanen.
I still think Toronto, maybe.
3-on-1. Okay. Well, I'm surprised to hear you say Toronto. I love how Toronto's playing. Their goaltending is an issue for me, but you know what? So is Carolina's. So we'll see. Because I hope they don't do Freddie Anderson in the playoffs, honestly. I hope they do Kochetkov, because Kochetkov has been a monster. Now, Anderson's just getting back, but we'll see. Anyway, okay, Riley came on and we talked about Buffalo's butt kicking. Of the Boston Bruins, 2 hat tricks from Tage Thompson and Lowry. Tage Thompson and JJ Peterka. I didn't get to watch a ton of that game, but I saw a couple of the goals. Every time I looked up, there was a goal being scored in that game. That's a fun game to be at. I'm happy for the Sabres fans. And you know what? There was a ton of Bruins fans in there. A ton. I bet it felt like a home game for the Bruins, and they got their butts kicked. I still kind of hope Boston misses the playoffs. I think it'll be good for them. They need to. Mike, I'm hearing from a lot of Boston Bruins fans they'd like to miss the playoffs. Isn't Pete Blackburn from What Chaos on record saying he wants them to miss? So, Ovi had a nice
pick. Lose. I'm so excited. It sounds weird. I'm excited we lost. I am.
Yeah, I mean, they need to probably – oh, man, Ovi just missed beating Dustin Wolf. I believe Dustin Wolf is a goalie Ovi has not played before. Therefore, he has not scored on him before. So almost, man. Jeez, let's go, Obi. Okay, and Anaheim. Oh, Golden Knights have scored. It's 3-1. Pavel right back. Wyatt Johnston. It's 3-2. Wyatt Johnson just scored 3-2 to make it 3-2. Okay. Blackhawks beat the Lightning, and I thought that was kind of a big upset that nobody's talking about. Connor Bedard gets on the board, and I think he had an assist too. Did he have a 2.9? Anyway, he did a goal, and they win 4-1. So pretty nice win.
Chicago almost beat him, I think, I think they recently played each other, and I think Chicago had like a 2-goal lead or something on Tampa, and they came back, and Tampa won that game in a third or overtime or something. I think this was like mere days ago.
Tampa was down 4-1 to win 5-4, and I closed out my parlay.
Oh.
That's why I know this answer.
Yeah.
Did you have Tampa
in that parlay tonight? I didn't touch it. The odds were gross.
I switched to Chicago when I found out that Vasilevsky was sick.
Okay. Johansson was in that for them. That makes sense too.
Ducks just scored again.
Yeah. So Ducks are up 4-3.
Yeah.
Yep. Ducks are up 4-3. Robbie Fabry, 8th of the year. Okay. Let's talk about tomorrow's 5 games, and then let's call it a day, guys. I appreciate everybody in the chat. 158 people listening and watching. Appreciate. This is unbelievable, guys. Can you believe this? I mean, we're going to get some weight with this, you think? Now we're on our own. We're not with Fans First. We're going to be doing our own stuff. So, I hope to see you guys. Okay, starting off, Wild Leaf. Wild are a plus 142. We didn't even talk about Kirill Kaprizov is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. No Kirill. That's bad news for Minnesota, man. I think they stay in a playoff spot, but they probably fall. And they were looking forward to getting him back. And now, but a positive side, if he's only 4 weeks with the Four Nations break, he could be back after that. So they still have a few games to play. So they could have him for the kind of the stretch run there. Maybe he gets healthy and going again. He was on a pace for that. I don't know. Would you guys have anything to say, Rico?
What about the Leaf Wild game?
No, I mean about Kaprizov, but yes, you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean 4 weeks. I think it's better news than they initially thought. I think that they're okay with hearing that it's that and not season ending. So, I mean, on the bright side, you're going to get them back. You're going to get the 2-week break for the Four Nations right in the middle of that as well too. So, I think it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough. Let's go right now. Plus 142 Minnesota Wild in Toronto. What did you like the game, Perlo?
I think with that news, I got to go with Toronto there.
Okay.
Toronto. I'm feeling Toronto right now. I think they're
Toronto's feeling pretty loose. They're playing loose. They had their little poker event, and they look loose, man. Rico, how you feel about your buds? Excuse me, guys. Apologize.
Leafs are sliding a little bit here, coming off losses against Blue Jackets in Ottawa, and they're flying out west.
Those are good teams, though, Rico. Those are good teams. I think 3 years ago, those are considered bad losses. Those are good teams this year.
For sure. But,
yeah,
I mean, you can't lose 3 in a row here. Plus, you're flying out west Edmonton after this game. So that's going to be a long flight with Berube in the front of that plane if you don't gain this win tonight. So I think the boys come out and they finish strong at home before they head on the Western trip. So, yeah, I'll take the Leafs here coming off 2 losses.
Mike, are you betting this game?
Toronto, I may even take them at minus 2.5. I think they come out with Kirill out. And they just lost.
He's kind of been missing quite a long while there for them, though. They've kind of been used to not playing with him. He came back just to kind of give you a perspective. Anyway, you're taking the Leafs minus 2.5.
I might be 2, and definitely money line. I'm gonna check lines tomorrow, see what they'll give me, but it may be a minus 2.5 for me.
Okay, I love it. Okay, Austin Patrick in between picks says, "Do you think Colorado will make the playoffs?" There's nobody on this panel that doesn't think Colorado's making the playoffs. I can tell you that. I can speak for everybody. Next game is Kings Panthers. Mike, why don't you just go into that one? This is in Florida. The Kings are plus 130.
I am looking at the Kings. They're 11-12 on the road. Florida's 13-9 at home. I like Florida money line. I may take them minus 1.5, but at least Florida money line right now. I just don't like the Kings on the road. I don't.
Yep, I totally understand that. Perlo, what do you
think? It's a revenge spot too. Florida just lost to LA.
Pretty badly in LA. Yes.
Yeah. So I think they're going to be coming up pretty hard here. I like Florida. They're pretty good too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, boys. 2-1 win. The Kings beat them in their building, and they're going right back to Florida here on the front end of a back-to-back. I think they're playing the Lightning the very next night too. So depends on who gets a start here. I know LA's definitely a different team on the road than at home. Doesn't matter sometimes if it's Rittich or Kemper. So, yeah, give me Florida here, revenge spot. You might have to get them in regulation maybe just to sweeten it up a little bit.
I haven't looked at the time, but okay.
I'm getting minus 150 money lines. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, 155 is what DraftKings Scott posted here. Flyers in New Jersey. Guys, this is your TNT Max game. Early game with Biz Nasty and the boys. Yeah, I see Tom Wilson just getting bit in half. I saw Rain. He got checked from behind. I don't know what's going on. If he got called for a penalty for being checked from behind, it's ridiculous. Anyway, Flyers, Devils. Devils have not been playing well. And now with the loss of Markstrom, where you at on that one, Perlo?
it's a revenge spot for New Jersey. But I'm not sure I can trust New Jersey right now.
I know.
So I don't like this. I don't like it. I'm just going to say a draw, and that's it. I think it could be a draw, but I don't trust New Jersey enough to beat anybody right now. They just don't like the way they look. Allen isn't playing well. They don't have Markstrom. It's Aki game. Don't like it. What about you, Rico?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, how many times can you play Allen in a row here? They got the ex-PGA guy, Ian Poulter, playing.
Bring up Roder's kid again or whatever.
Isaac Poulter's up. So, I mean.
Ian Poulter?
Ian Poulter. No, he's a PGA guy. Isaac Poulter.
Yeah.
Isaac Poulter. Yeah. So they going to start
If you've
Isaac
never
Poulter
heard of the
here?
goalie, chances are Raquel to Colorado?
Just a 23-year-old kid from Winnipeg, Manitoba. No big deal.
Hot Take says Raquel to Colorado. Is that happening? Did we just get that?
That makes sense. I thought about that earlier. That makes sense. That makes
He's having a good year. He's actually having a really good year. Raquel's having
over first before Crosby. They're just sending over a bobber in the water right now.
Yeah. Here we go. Stirring the pot.
Oh, prediction. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Everybody on the Devils or the Flyers here? Mike, did you give your pick on this?
I am not touching this game with a 10-foot pole.
I love it.
I don't trust either team.
Okay, yeah. Canucks Preds. And before we get into Canucks Preds, I think Ashley Johnson #, as it says in her profile name here. Yes, Lanks is good. I want more shutouts from him. Would be more, but our guys have had some rough, I think she said rough nights down here and clarifying. Yeah, I don't know. Ashley, I think Vancouver makes a play. I just don't know. The trade thing is so odd. They won 2 in a row and they're playing the Preds tomorrow. So are they going to beat the Preds at home? The Preds are not good. Like, this is an easy win for Vancouver here at plus money, right? They're just saying, take my money. This is one of the freebies they give you when they're not watching how these teams have been playing. Vancouver's 2-0 in their last 2 road games. They've played well. And they're coming off, they beat the Caps 2-1. They didn't play a bad game. Of course they didn't. I was hoping it was like a total dumpster fire and we scored like 7 on them. But it didn't happen. So I like the plus money on the Vancouver. Mike, what about you on this one?
I'm getting a goal total of 5.5, and I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I don't like betting on shootouts, or not saying the shootout, I guess in the overtime, but games that'll be a shootout. I think the final score is like 4-3 here. So I'm taking the over, but I'm not picking a side.
Okay. You like the over? I don't have those over numbers, by the way, guys. If you have them, give them. Perlo, why don't you go and then we'll let Rico finish it up.
Yeah, the thing about this one is Lankinen against his old team, right? But of course he went to Chicago after that too. So it should be Lankinen, but if it's Demko, I'm all over the over here.
Demko is having he's having a horrible year, man.
Yeah, he's having a rough since he come back from injury. So I'm all over
I'm
the
getting
over.
I'm getting 5.5 on this, by the way, from DraftKings.
I like the over. Actually, even if Lankinen's in, Nashville's playing like DJen was saying, they're playing a full offensive press right now. So their defense.
Well, you know what, though, man? I feel really bad for all Sod's in here, Austin. It sounds like I feel bad for all these you diehard Vancouver fans because last year was so magical, and you know what? Now, and Quinn Hughes is having an incredible year, guys. So, oh damn! Ashley says Demko needs to be sent to Abbotsford for a bit just to recondition. I don't hate it, Ashley. That would be nice. I think if they weren't struggling where they are in the thing, I think they would probably be wanting that. So everybody on Canucks Preds here on the over with Perlo. Oh, you're finishing off, Rico. My bad.
Yeah, no. I'll take Nashville here. Like, they're not bad at home. Vancouver's got a good record on the road, though. But Saros has given up 9 goals in those last 2 games, too. So I don't know what the hell's going on with him right now. So definitely love the over, but I'll take a little sprinkle on Nashville at home here. They're 7-3 in their last 10. I think they're just showing a little bit of life here, especially at home. It's a Vancouver team, I think.
I mean, why? They should be bad. They want to get a high pick at this point. They have a ton of picks. So I
just stink at home. Those fans, I don't know, man.
I sneakily think they're going to move a guy. I think they're going to
Vancouver's
move a
really
guy.
consistent.
Marcia Show back to
O'Reilly.
Vegas.
O'Reilly.
Okay. Last game of the night.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Okay. All right. You guys done? Okay. Last game of the night, the TNT late game, Penguins at Utah Hockey Club. There's no way I'm taking the Penguins here. They're terrible. Malkin's out. They're not good. Utah Hockey Club all day. They're the favorite, -142. Perlo, you started off. What are you saying? The same?
Utah team total over Utah -1.5. Utah in regulation. Utah.
I like the under, especially if Pittsburgh trades Raquel. We're joking, but it's 6.5. I kind of like the under there, but you never know. Utah could explode for some. Yeah, Rico's cat making a thing. Okay, Perlo likes Utah team total. Rico, how are you feeling on this one? And then we'll finish up with the degenerate Bostonian.
Yeah, so I've been in Ottawa for like 6 days, so my cats are just happy to see me. But
no, it's awesome. The cats are great. Don't apologize for your cats.
Yeah, no worries. Pittsburgh scored 3 goals in their last 3 games. So I don't know where it's coming from here in this game, but I mean,
Sidney Crosby
coming off.
It's been Sidney Crosby. That's it. It's either a goal that he assisted on or a goal he scored. That's it.
He's scoring goals. Next thing you know, he's going to be the minority owner there, and yeah, he's just doing it all.
Yeah, you listen to Kipper and Bourne today too, I hear. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much to everybody. Mike, kill it. Penguins, Utah Hockey Club.
I like Utah first period here. I think they come out strong at home, and I don't like all the rumors swirling at Pittsburgh. I think that usually leads to slow, choppy starts. So I like Utah first period.
The first one where they're like, we're going to fire sale, they like dominated a team they should have lost to, and they won like 5-1. I was like, I felt so bad. Then I was like, it'll catch up to them because they're not good. So Rico made the trip to Ottawa to catch the L. Sheesh. He didn't get to energized. He didn't actually get to go to the game. He said that earlier. Sorry. So he didn't even watch. So you're kind of clowning on him for no reason. And that's a great moment to end the show. Thank you so much tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on at Hot Take Hockey. 55,000 plus subscribers. Leave a like, subscribe. I don't know. How many likes did we end up with, boys? What's the over-under? 125? Over-under, quick.
Over.
Over.
Well, we're still getting them. Leave a like. We're at 120. Appreciate you, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.